figure in our nation. You were speaking for us, and this person is one of the leaders in the church. We put an offering for this leader who was speaking. And in the morning, very early in the morning, before the leader can come, the guest can come, this leader ran to me and said to me, Pastor, I'm thinking, because we're celebrating 10 years as a church, and the offering we put for this guest is so much. Why don't we increase it to 10? This is what I've put together. Please, let's increase the honorarium, particular amount. I accepted. I took everything. I'm coming to you. Took everything, hand over to the guest. Never pull out offerings that were given to you to give to the guests. Is unethical. If we give our guests 10 and you look at it and say, too much, you pull 3, 4, 5. Very unethical, and it's actually stealing. There are pastors who pull. Don't pull. Praise the Lord. Don't pull. I know what I'm talking about. One leader once told me, yesterday I told you of a puppy, right? This leader told me that we were speaking somewhere. They were speaking somewhere. The church, because of honor and protocol, they gave him something to give to them, the honorarium to give to them, to the guests. What a thought. That man says he had sweets in his hands. So, because you people, you might be watching, so he handed over sweets to the guests and kept the envelope. It came out when we were talking about treatment we get when we travel. He kept the envelope and gave the guest sweets. Ethics, financial ethics for set leaders. Don't collect money using the name of the guest. I want to repeat again on record. Don't collect money using the name of the guest. It's actually lies, sin, theft. You're going to end up in hell with that kind of stuff. For some leaders, it's time to steal when there's a guest. Forget about morals, ethics, don't visit the guest in the hotel, what. For some of us, when there's a guest, it's time to steal, to loot. Because we can't loot when there's no guest. So when there's a guest, it's time to loot. So you will find that there are more offerings collected for the guest in the name of the guest. The guest. Many pastors have been victims of that. Guys, if you are to collect an offering, don't use the name of the guest. Just collect your things and leave the guest out. The money. The monies that gets collected, pastor and the treasurer pockets. Okay, so don't collect money using the name of the guest. And also the church, don't sow to the guests in corners. Let it go through protocol. Okay? It is better to bring the seed to the leadership and let leaders pass it unless they're going to pass sweets. And you already know that they are not going to give it to him, you will get sweets. It's another thing. Don't engage, I want to say this, don't engage in financial transactions with the guests, like borrowing the guest money and getting involved in financial deals. You find that now you're talking business, you're partnering, you're doing this, and we are all shocked. We hear you're going to trucks together, you're going into oil, you're going to Bitcoin, it's going to end in tears. It is wrong. Don't give the guest of your church loans. 26, this one is for young people. Avoid moving up and down when the guest is around. Up and down, up and down, up and down. Avoid moving up and down. Number 27, if you're not going to be available, courtesy and ethics will demand that informal leaders are not going to be around. Unless if we'll meet you at the malls after church, is another thing. But if you're not going to make it, respect leaders, just say, I'm not going to be around. My apologies. This is what is handled, maybe school and so on. One, it will free your leaders from unnecessary depression. Can you imagine sitting the whole day waiting for people? People are not coming, no apology, nothing. So the leader thinks, maybe I'm a bad guy here. Maybe this is inaccurate. Maybe these are prophetic people who they are hearing that God says, I'm not part of what is going on. So they are prophetic people, they are not part of what God is not part of. You see, your leader is having a lot of questions. But if there was a clear apology, a lot of things would have been avoided. Okay? If you are to leave the church, don't just vanish. If you are to leave the church, don't just vanish. Say proper goodbyes, unless you're fighting. Unless there is serious fighting. But well, sometimes some people know they are wrong, so they just vanish. I'll just see my uniforms. Then I don't have to ask anything. Okay? What is that side of Mamelodi? Is it east or west?
West.
Oh, it's the west where they were. Okay. Okay, number 20 what? Alright, so number 29. If you are to protect your church, you have to stand against everyone who disrespects your church. You have to stand against everyone who disrespects the church. Correct them without being violent. Don't also have this tag of these violent people. You talk about their prophet, they are very violent. It's like they can eat you alive. No. Right? You know, Moshe. If you are to defend your church, don't be violent. If you are violent, then there's something wrong. Why are you changing the face? Then there's something wrong. Okay, number 30. Acknowledge your pastor as a gift from God and value their statements, words, and so on. It's said that you have a pastor, you don't value their statements and take serious their words. It's said. It's really said. Sometimes people ask for advice, but you can tell when you're advising them, they're not taking serious what I'm saying. They don't even value my advice because I can see they're going to implement total opposite of what I told them. Okay, so let's take a break. We're on 30. We still have 14 more to go, but let's